If you must go down to the sea from Cadgwith Cove, then you must also be prepared to spill sweat for more than an hour, until every boat is at sea. There are other coves in Cornwall with no natural harbour where men fish for a living, but none with boats this size, 12 of them, 25 feet and more in length and upwards of 4 tons in weight. Only when they are at sea are the 24 fishermen of Cadgwith really independent. Ashore, they must act as one, a true cooperative. They have to put to sea together and come back together, or seek a living elsewhere. Such disciplines have, over succeeding generations, evolved a unique social structure which inevitably pushes forward natural leaders, voices which the others listen to, men who make the necessary decisions. The entire system is underpinned by an unbroken continuity of life revolving exclusively around fishing and the lifeboat service. Some men can trace their roots in Cadgwith back to the 17th century and beyond. One is Sharky Stevens, for years the man with the dominant voice in the cove. His forebears were involved in another, darker, and long-gone Cadgwith industry.
They used to do a bit of smuggling in the days. They reckoned that they killed a revenue man outside the pub here.
Really?
Yeah, and they stuck another one in the drain up the crossroad, up the back. And they used to shoot these brandy barrels like a string of pots, you know, outside. And then when they were going to bring these ashore, no way would anyone come near the village when they was going to bring them in, you know. Yeah.
Not even the revenue man?
No.
It would seem that the sort of life here breeds tough men, hard men.
Yeah, my great-grandfather called Jack Trimey. Yeah, that was because he was a bit of a rough diamond, and he used to get up to all sorts of things. Fight now and again, and the story goes that he fell out with 2 or 3 of the old men down there, or young men in those days, and he got in the corner and there was 3 or 4 of them on to him, and he said, "Come on, try me," and that stuck. It's called Try Me ever since.
That was your grandfather?
Yeah, he was a hewer as well, yeah.
A hewer is a man with the rare ability to spot and track from the cliff tops large shoals of fish. Sharky is Cadgwith's hewer. Every winter, he hunts the grey mullet. And when he gives the word, out comes the Cadgwith mullet net. The mullet net is a prodigious piece of gear, 150 fathoms long and 11 fathoms deep, 900 by 66 feet. All hands are mustered to prepare it for action. At certain times, the mullets shoal up by the ton. Sharky directs the crucial placing of the net from the cliffs. It can be a hazardous business, but profitable. For the last 2 years, however, there have been no mullet, and this has helped to diminish Sharky's position in Cadgwith, along with other factors.
They're getting more modern now than my day. They're getting these deckers and meters to look for fish, where in my day we done it by instinct, you know. And now they look at them on screens and where we used to look at the sky and look at the water and say, well, there's some there, and sometimes there would be, like, you know, you took a pride out of knowing or guessing that they was there, you know, and I think I might have took that out of the life nowadays, you know. I like crabbing. I'm a crabber, really. And in my day, it was mostly crabbing, so that's why I like crabbing. Well, now, the younger fellas are going in more for netting. There's more money in wet fish, we call wet fish, than there is shellfish, really.
You know, they don't ask the elder ones like they used to, because I think they started off younger. Used to be father and son years ago. Now it is, you know, two youngsters together mainly. And I think they fish their way.
Are you trying to say that the youngsters have left the older hands behind?
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah. I think the older hands keep the youngsters back, if you get what I mean.
Really?
Yeah.
But you support them?
I do, yeah. I think they're right in one way and wrong in another, but I think the way they fish the youngsters, they'll, you know, outfish the ground quicker than the older ones would, because nothing's allowed to escape anymore.
Arthur Williams, another authoritative voice in Cadgwith, and Sharky Stevens' closest friend. Arthur's own son, Mark, is one who went his own way. He teamed up with another young man and now skippers a successful boat.
The varied assortment of fish, Mark. What are they?
Well, this one here we call a monkfish, but really it's an anglerfish.
What about the crabs? I mean, you seem to be ripping the legs off and throwing them over the side. Why is that?
We got about 40 nets to clear. We never finish a day, and a time of gear comes up, take the crabs out, be going under again. It's just never worth the effort of taking them out.
What else have you got in there?
We've got a wrasse, a few ray, and a cod. It's a cod.
That's a beauty.
Then that's a bonus, really, because, you know, I don't catch many of those in these types of nets. Every net got its own purpose, catching certain fish. And these nets here, really, are meant for the monkfish, and rays and crayfish.
Well, I suppose you're glad of anything, are you?
Oh, and plus what goes in.
Among the rising generation, one voice often listened to is that of Peter Jane, known to everyone as Plugger.
Got a crayfish here. We lost one. He rolled out the net. He just went to the side of the boat and he just rolled inside out, that bastard.
Can I ask you what it's worth on the market, this catch?
Not a lot. Don't expect the ling will fetch more than 250.
A stone?
Might be 150 quid, something like that.
So what can you get on the best kind of day? I mean, what is the best catch you've ever had?
Oh, best catch we've ever had is hake. We had 160 stone hake. We had over 200 stone, but 160 it was hake. You know, for value.
What does that fetch?
Well, we grossed £2,000 for the day, just over £2,000.
New technology can bring high rewards.
Penny a wrasse, Rodney. Penny a wrasse. Not a lot. Two booties. You bring them all in.
The Cadgwith fleet returns home, together. It's the only way. You cannot be independent in these matters. The Hornsby winch has been dragging the Cadgwith boats up the shingle to safety since 1911. Offers to buy it for large sums, particularly from America, have been comprehensively rejected. Another day ends in Cadgwith, and there's more sweat to be spilled. But there have been some fair returns for the day's effort. Martin Ellis, Sharky's nephew, seems happy enough.
What have you got here?
Sole. I actually caught that on hook. Didn't often catch any soles on conger hooks.
This is ling, is it?
No, it's mainly congers. We got ling here.
How many have you got altogether?
About 100 stone, I think. Something like that.
What's
Job to tell, it might be a bit less, a bit more. A bit less than me.
What's today's market value of 100 stone?
250 quid, 300 pucks.
What weight of fish you bring home and particularly its market value, is of singular importance in Cadgwith. There is a highly competitive spirit abroad here, the cutting edge of the community.
Well, fishing is a good life because of that. It's a competitive thing, you know. And I think that's what keeps fishermen going, is that they're always competing. Because we are the last of the hunters, really, a fisherman is.
Oh, yes, it's not the money. It's to stay top dog all the time. Or as much as high up as you can get anyway, as high as you dare go. The money is necessary to pay the bills and to fuel the ambition, I suppose, but mostly it's the getting up there.
And you want to be top dog?
That way, yes.
But when certain crises loom in Cadgwith, the top dog is not to be found among the new generation. The Cove is a vulnerable place when the wind begins to freshen to gale force. And at times like this, there is no substitute for experience.
Got a feeling when there's going to be a gale, you know. You can usually tell. You lie in bed, you can hear the whole sea talking, you know, when it's coming out, when there's going to be a hard gale. And it's given 9 or 10, perhaps 11, so that's...
11? That's storm force.
Yeah. We've had it knocked all the doors down of the houses, you know, the boat houses, and smashed to pieces. It's gone right across the road, even in here, you know.
So what's going to happen here now, if a force 11 is forecast?
Well, we'll pull them up from there. We'll have a muster of men, and we'll pull them up as far as we can, right up to the road, and then wait until 12 o'clock midnight for the next high water. And
that's the crucial time.
Yeah, that's the crucial time.
Cadgwith's worst enemy is a southerly gale, which attacks the village head-on. And this is a southerly gale, storm force. Sharky Stevens supervises the hauling of the boats up to the road. If necessary, they will be dragged up the hill. It's often been done before.
All right, George.
In the middle of the storm, the Lizard lifeboat is called out, and a significant proportion of Cadgwith's young men go with it, as they always have, and no doubt always will.
Don't think the sea will get up here.
The gods are with Cadgwith this time. Half an hour before high water, the wind changes direction and the sea is pushed back. But Cadgwith has to wait for 5 days before the boats can put to sea again. A legacy of the storm.
It's been a good day for crabbing, Sharky.
Not as much as we ought to have. It's been a gale, and we haven't been for a couple of days.
Well, there seems to be quite a lot of crabs for one cove.
Oh, we catch a lot more than that. It's just that some of the boys' gear got knocked about, you know.
What weight would you have expected to send away if, under normal circumstances?
A couple of ton.
2 tons?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about the squid? Are you interested in that?
Not me. I'm too old.
Shellfish and mackerel have been the traditional harvest for Cadgwith since anyone can remember. But now there's something entirely new to hunt down, quietly. Something usually associated with other, more exotic waters. Squid. It means finding the energy to go out again at night after a strenuous day's work and gearing up with lights to attract this curious fish. The job requires intense concentration and stealth. It's also an experimental business as yet for Cornish fishermen. Techniques and equipment are still being developed.
Taken quietly at times, they very easily leave go. Primitive way of fishing, but it's the only way we know at the moment.
The initial research into squid fishing was done by Barry Cockcroft.
Are they not a warm water fish?
Yeah, apparently so, but, you know, I got a book about it to find out a bit more, and apparently they'd come here in the fall of the year to spawn.
So it might become a highly profitable new industry for Cornish fishermen.
They could well do, yeah. Yeah, it's probably squid all around the Cornish coast, you know, north coast and all, yeah.
The market for squid is invariably good, particularly on the continent. 12 pounds a stone is not unusual, and catches have been good and will get better. But Sharky Stevens is content to let the young men lead this new enterprise.
My sons and the young fellas, they got a better life. They earn more money now when they're at their age than what I did, you know.
Sounds to me like the old lion is preparing to give up the leadership of the pack.
Yeah, well, yeah, I already have, I suppose.
Amongst the younger generation, do you see someone as his natural successor?
Well, there's always somebody come along and take the place of somebody else.
Have you any ambitions in that direction?
I don't mind what I do.
Some of the older hands I've talked to nominated one or two possibilities, and your name was among them. Does that surprise you?
If I said no, it might be a bit big-headed. Or if I said yes, whatever way it is. I perhaps stand a good chance, I wouldn't know.
Some will sort of run around and do them, some won't. I suppose I do, you know, some running around. You know, I do meetings and things I'll go to.
What sort of meetings?
Fishery meetings, to try and make sure that we're not left out of anything. And, you know, in as much as the community isn't left out of anything. And organising things, I try and organise for them if they want it organised. But I don't go out my way to put upon them. You know, if they want something done, I'll try my best to do what's going to be done. And that's all.
So you seem to be slipping naturally into the position that perhaps Sharky will vacate one day.
Well, at the moment, I suppose, in a sort of, on that side, on the fishery side of it, maybe, yes.
Slow down, Sharky, can't go.
The inbred competitive urge among the men of Cadgwith is at its fiercest when the honour of the Cove is at stake. Gig racing is their sport, and there is a cup named in memory of a much revered Cadgwith elder called Buller. The men of Newquay took it off Cadgwith last time.
You don't get next.
Well, now, I want the two coxswains here to call.
Heads.
Heads? Heads it is.
We'll take the active.
The active.
Delighted with that. Delighted with that. Cadgwith got no chance.
You crew start with an advantage, Barry?
A little bit.
I think she's proven a little bit faster over...
Not faster as the crew's going to win, but...
Well, how do you rate your chances now you got the worst boat?
Oh, I don't see we got the worst boat. We just got a better crew, that's all. We've got to get in there early. I mean, there's no point in taking on a defeatist attitude to this.
You see, I suppose the men of Cadgwith look upon the Buller Cup as their property since Buller was a Cadgwith man, perhaps.
Oh, yes, we want it back. No question about that.
You want it back?
Oh, yes.
that water, Phil. Just... Don't worry about pulling no weight in it. Just try keep it hit in the water.
This time! Come on! Oh! Come on!
Seven! Come on! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There she goes! Come on! This time! Come on!
6, 7. Come on, boys! 1, 2, 3. Come on!
Plugger, down closer on thing.
Yeah, not close enough. Should have been closer. Being second in no good. We have to try harder next time.
Sharky? Disappointed?
Well, that's how it goes. Good race.
The victors celebrate, others contemplate. Plugger, whatever it is, gig racing or fishing, it seems you need to be a winner.
And if you haven't got that kind of ambition, how are you going to do the job? It's not like being a coal miner or something like that, guaranteed 180, 200 pound a week. It's not like that at all. If you don't go out there and do it and use everything you got to do it, then you get nothing end of the week. If you don't go, there's no reward at all. So when the reward is good, then it's sweeter because you did it, or you and the lads, you and the crew did it. That's the thing.
And you like to show the way, do you?
Oh, I like to have a go at it, yes. Certainly.